Hello, everyone, and welcome to some Atlantic League Twilight Struggle. Justin Abramson here with you today. We've got a recorded game between my DC teammate, Ted Livermore, and Graham Palmer. Ted and Graham are both in Group A. Graham is 2-1 on the season. Ted is 2-2. The winner of this game will go to the playoffs in Atlantic League. The loser is done. So we will see how that goes. Obviously, I'm going to be a bit of a homer here, pulling for my friend and longtime DC teammate Ted. We'll see how that goes. In fact, he might even join for on commentary for parts of it. So I will start the game without further ado. We will start here at 1.25 speed. We can always speed it up if we need to. You know what? Let's do one. Let's just do 1.5. I think that's fine. I actually have some work to do, and I know some other people do as well. So let us get to it. Okay, so we are watching from Ted's side. He is the USA. Hello.
Just in time.
Hey, Ted.
Hello. Thank you for streaming this. It's a good game, I will say.
Yeah, I hope it is. So here we go, Ted. So your opening hand, you got Marshall Plan. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of garbage here otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, yeah, this is an obvious Marshall Plan headline, and then
Mm-hmm.
you're hoping not to see Decall and Purge in the. I'm sure. I'm hoping not to see Decall or Purge from him.
Both of those would be bad. Yes, you are correct. Both of those would be very bad for this hand. Decal, of course, screws me in Asia, and then Purge does that.
Yeah. So
So
okay. So
count
you're
them up, Justin.
so
One, two, three, four playable ops.
four playable ops is not a high number. So okay, now at least the saving grace here is you'll at least be able to get out of Asia for -1, but you're basically doing nothing the entire turn. So you can space destall or Suez or try and hold destall. Okay, quick coup and a 5 there. So I think
NATO is active.
yeah, NATO is active, so that's nice. So thinking about dumping Asia here. Okay, we're gonna hope that Graham does not have Middle East.
We are going to hope that. But I was like, what if I go into Lebanon with Olympic? That just invites a coup. I can't do anything about.
Yep. So yeah, I guess
Right.
I get that it makes sense. Like my initial instinct is like, oh, why didn't he go to Lebanon? But that's right. If he coups Lebanon, then it could easily get scored for 6, and you can't really respond. So if it gets scored for 4, that's bad. But then at least you can focus on other regions here. So what was your thought here? Were you thinking of spacing D stall? You're thinking about trying to hold D stall, space
No, I
Suez?
mean I might as well hold D stall. I mean I can't do anything about blockade anyways. So and
Yep.
Suez with only 2 ops is kind of unplayable right now.
Yeah, I was
So
wondering if with I guess with Europe unscored, you can't just give up the 2 in France because you could just play Suez into Egypt and get a real 2 op out of. Oh, okay, so we did have Middle East.
yeah, he did. But again, like if I go into Lebanon, he's just gonna coup it, and that's that. And then Suez, I wanted a space to try to hit the space roll. I missed it.
Yep, yep, that makes
So that
sense
was
because
the rush there.
that was going to do more harm than good,
Yeah.
certainly at with you being purged. So okay, things already don't look too good.
Mm-hmm.
D-stall in your hand. I mean, let's see if he has blockade. I assume we're looking at a Nasser coup here at some point,
Yeah.
or a Vietnam coup. Vietnam. What was your thinking there?
Um.
Okay, well, thinking
Yeah. So
about Vietnam coup. Vietnam.
right, right. Yeah. So he does this, and then at this point, I say, Middle East has scored. This is my opportunity to do it. Let's do it, and I roll.
Yeah. Still the right play though. Get your 1 mil op. You only lose 1 VP on mil ops, and you were going to give Nasser anyway. Certainly, you weren't getting 2 into Egypt. Could have gone with Suez 2 into Egypt, but then you're giving up your 1 in Israel, potentially getting cooed out of Egypt, which would be a disaster, and then obviously the 2 in France as well, which was just unacceptable. So okay, you have 3 ops, and you have to give Vietnam here, which is just a
Mm-hmm.
complete disaster. because even if you spend all three ops to go Malaysia to Thailand, it's he can still flip with a China card next turn if he wants to. Okay, well there's a break.
That was break for sure. So, and the other good thing is now all three scoring, so I have a little bit of time to recover.
Yes. So okay, losing the war hurts there, but okay, yeah, going to Malaysia, which that makes sense. So you're looks like barring a successful space roll here, you're going to be down only 3 VPs at the start of turn one. Could be worse, but yeah, we're going to be looks like behind in Asia, well behind in the Middle East, and so yeah, we're definitely wanting to see our opponent not get decalled next turn.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yep, we do. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. No decall next turn would be large.
So we've seen IP war, and so yeah, I assume we'll see Pakistan here, India, maybe Lebanon. Lebanon needs to be taken, but I understand. Obviously, for you, Malaysia is more important.
Yeah, I just didn't have an option there. I mean, the Korean War, like sucks to lose it, and I could have put one back in there, but then I just give up Thailand.
Yeah. Then you're conceding Thailand. At least this way, he has to decall in there, or he has to use a China. He has to at least give you China. So I think I would go Lebanon, Pakistan, India here if I were Graham.
Yep. Fill in Pakistan, get one in India, and one in Lebanon. That would make sense.
Oh, go in Libya instead. That's fine. I like Lebanon a little better because it's contested, but okay. Yep. All right. So you spent all three ops in to get Thailand. I think that was the only thing you could do. Well, that was a brutal turn one, saved only by the fact that he had Europe.
Yes. I'm surprised he didn't push me in Europe. I mean, he even jammed in Germany, and I'm screwed. Now, he doesn't know that exactly, but so.
Okay, here's more garbage. At least you have special, so that's something. There's a couple of VPs for you. You blockade.
And now I thought you might be mad at me for this play because I was considering it was 5-year plan or special, right? So special is a disaster if he has sock gubs.
Yeah.
But it's
great
very,
if he has the gall. Yep.
Correct. Yep. So that was the kind of 50-50.
Yep. Yeah. And that's a great play. Sock Gubs is just not a great headline there.
Right. Yeah, because it doesn't give him access to anything. He just stops the special.
Yeah, it's just annoying, especially with Europe score. Yeah, Sock Gubs is not a great headline there, but De Gaulle very much is. So I think that was a very good play. Yeah, you definitely lose France there if you don't headline special. So I like your play. Obviously, in hindsight, I like your play. Even without hindsight, I still like it. Protecting France, you know how I feel about France.
Yeah. And now, what is he? Oh, he couped. Yeah, he's gonna coup Panama.
Or he can flip Thailand with China card if he wants to, I suppose.
Yes. So he's gonna coups Panama, not to ruin the suspense. He does play a little slow.
I think that's the right.
Yep. Okay. He rolls a 1. So now I maybe screwed this up. So, I was looking at Algeria, and then Lebanon was important.
Yeah,
Lebanon was a must take for me.
Yeah, Lebanon crucially important. What about using NTB and taking Laos or putting a third into Thailand?
Yep. So I was thinking about NTB. I did not use NTB properly. I just ended up sitting on it for basically no reason. But yes, this was the problem. So then he has that. What I should have done with NTB is also take Angola there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the Lebanon obviously very important. Algeria is
Lebanon was an absolute must.
Yeah.
And then Algeria, I don't know. That seemed important to me too at the time. I was so behind in Asia that I was like, you want to flip over Thailand, you go for it.
Yeah, because Asia's it's now going to be a disaster. Thailand is not going to affect domination. We're just accepting that we've lost in Asia and hoping the scoring gets lost in the deck for a little while.
Yeah. And then the other thing I'm hoping for here is I'm just waiting on France. I really want them to make a mistake and pile into France.
Yeah. Now, what 4 ops are around? You have NTB. We obviously have seen Marshall and Purge.
And NATO, so it's just Japan.
Just U.S. Japan, yeah. So you're hoping that he will he will jam France, and he does not seem to be taking the bait thus far. Now, in this instance, let's say he doesn't do that. Would you want to use Truman to knock him out of France anyway to take away the access, or would you preserve Truman given how weak Eastern Europe looks and hope to maybe get a big Poland knockout later in the game?
Yeah, I chose to preserve Truman. I was thinking about that same thing.
Yep. Okay. He hits the space roll. That's
Yeah, I didn't have
unfortunate.
anything to space really.
No, yeah, you don't have a space card here.
Yeah, and then I decided, what did I do? Did I do this? I think I did this just to harass him a little bit.
Yeah, you don't have a ton here.
To do, I mean, Southeast Asian countries. I maybe could have maybe flipping Lao. Maybe going into like Jordan to put some pressure on the Middle East, Mexico, Panama.
Okay, so he did have a 4-op. Let's see what he does with it. So 2 there and 2 there. Okay, I mean, that's not that bad. You've made him spend a 4-op on those 2
Right.
countries.
Yeah, I was thrilled with that.
Yeah, that is not a terrible outcome for you. Okay, now containment is still around, so I assume we will see NTB on AR5.
No, we don't see that. 5.
Okay. No, unless we okay, all right, maybe we want to jam something, but okay, we'll take Europe
Right,
down back.
that was what I was thinking. I wanted it to jam because India, he hasn't taken India.
Yeah.
Which means that he's only got 3 battlegrounds to now my 2 after Japan.
I see.
Yes. This was I was confused by the sequence with the spacing of defectors, the playing of Japan, and the UNing of NORAD. I think I would have done that a little differently, but.
Yeah. Okay. And then he goes Burma. IP war is gone, so he's not worried about IP war. I mean, obviously, he could come back next turn. Maybe we'll see him take India here. But okay, so we're going to hold NTB to AR6. Hope we don't see containment. And then we're going to jam South Korea.
That was the plan, yes.
Okay. And then.
But he could have just nullified it by taking India. He does not do that. Yeah. He instead overprotects. And so, I don't have a ton to do here with NTB. And so I do this.
Okay. Hoping to get Asia.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Those are some good ones to get.
Yep. Those are
nothing to complain about there.
And then you know what he has?
CIA.
He is CIA,
yeah.
Correct.
See, sometimes I forget about CIA on turn 3, and then I talk on live on stream about maybe he has CIA. When he definitely has it. Okay, so Duck is your no-brainer headline here, right? Keep him holding on to CIA.
Yeah, I mean it means I wasted MPB, but
oh, Christ's sake, that's terrible.
Yep, fun. It's fun. It's a good time.
Okay, blockade is gone, so you can space.govs and hold decall. You could event containment. How much is that going to get you though?
No, it's. I mean,
that's not great.
1, 2, 3, maybe.
Yeah, that's
3,
not great.
Right? It's Olympic game, nuclear test ban, and Eastern European. And right now, you will see me think about it here and then refrain. Eastern European is a very good event, right?
Yeah, yep, definitely.
So I thought about containment, and you can see me counting here and realizing.
Yeah, you're gonna see it because with blockade, if he had blockade, containment's a no-brainer AR1, but we know blockade is gone, so no big deal. Yeah. So you're right. You wasted your 4-op on South Korea because he got an easy fix, but worth it to keep holding on there and prevent a Panama coup. Yeah, CNS is fine.
Yeah. So you see me think about Eastern European right there, and then decide. Because his hand is pretty weak from what I know of it. He's got Fidel, he's got Formosan, he's got CIA. I think he had one other 2-op. I think it was maybe I knew Cambridge. So I think I knew he had 3 2-ops and then CIA.
Yeah. Okay. So now, so taking Mexico.
Yeah, I don't really have much to do here.
Yeah, you got to take Mexico. You got to take Panama. Jordan could be interesting. Josiah mentioning that Yeah, potentially getting Jordan to threaten Saudi and Iraq. But even if you get both Saudi and Iraq, it's not going to affect Middle East Dom. Okay, spacing a 5-year plan. That's encouraging to see. You try the space roll and miss, so he gets another space shot.
Yeah, space does not go well this game. Space is an utter and absolute catastrophe. All of your direct TV in this universe is provided by the Russians.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man, and he hits again. So that's four. That's 3 VPs he's gotten from space. He's got a total of a 3 VP lead here. Middle East is a disaster. Asia is a disaster. Africa doesn't look good, but one grain sales can fix that. And then obviously he's got no access in the Americas. You do have to carry decall and no China into turn 4, which is annoying. Yeah, I'd definitely rather be Graham here, but you're not out of it.
No, not at all. So I have my 4-op, and I am sitting here just so hoping that he does not touch Europe.
Yep.
Because that's a very nasty AR6. Inventing Fidel makes sense.
I don't think we'd seen Fidel. Was that a
no?
redraw?
We had Fidel was known. I knew Cambridge, Formosa, and Fidel and CIA.
Yep. So yeah, you got to take Panama. Yeah, I think South Africa's fine. Yeah, definitely want to protect Thailand from brush war.
Yep. Do you, Justin? Is that a good thing to do?
I think that's a good thing. Now, Asia. I was recently in a third place playoff in a game where I was ahead in Asia and I just got real cocky there, and was like, whatever, it'll be fine. I'm way up in battlegrounds, and got 3 of them flipped on me with just ops. So it was really bad. But in this case, you're down 4-2, but both Koreas are very jammable. Oh, that's annoying. Both Koreas very jammable. IP war not going to be a thing, but nothing's overprotected in Asia, so maybe you can weasel out of that at some point.
Well, I can tell you, Graham is not a player that leaves Asia a chance here, as you'll see.
Yeah. So, all right.
So I get him here with the presenceless Europe.
Okay.
Which I was very, very happy to do. Not a great hand here, although. So my dilemma here is like nuclear subs in a normal circumstance would be great, but I got
this is not a good nuclear subs hand.
No,
this is a missile envy. You like missile envy. This is a clear missile envy headline for me.
Yes.
You have nuke subs would be great, but you got 2 scorings. You have Panama, which has to be an event. Oh, all right.
I was pretty happy with that.
That's
I think good play by him.
Yeah.
I think that's a smart headline. It does get Warsaw out of the deck, and he's only going to have those at 4. And Comic-Con just went into the discard.
Yeah, that's definitely something to think about. I love seeing those at 4 or 5 with Warsaw gone. You get the Pope, you can do all kinds of shenanigans there. Now let's see what we get with missile envy. Obviously, we're looking for a coup here. I don't think that's particularly insightful. It looks like we're not going to get it. NATO, Japan, and Marshall are all gone, so no U.S. 4s around.
Right.
NTB
so I was like, this is a good
still
opportunity.
around, I think. Yeah.
No, I had it last turn.
Oh, that's right. You had it last turn. You had NTB twice.
No, it was ABM, Muslims, and Flower Pepper.
Yep.
Were the only 4s.
Yes, and any of those would be good. So
yes,
we're hoping that he has a 4. But how long he's waiting suggests he does not have that, and instead we're going to get a dud like arms race. Although if he has a dud like arms race, I don't know why he's just not giving you that and cooing Panama right now.
Yeah, I didn't pay much attention later in the turn what his other options were. But I get Cuban, which...
That's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
I mean, you could get him to empty out Cuba, I guess, maybe, and score... you're gonna probably have to let him out of. You would go Guatemala, Colombia here, get him to empty out Cuba.
I go Guatemala and then Saharan. Oh no, I guess I took South Africa. Okay.
Yeah, Colombia, I guess, is very risky here. You don't want to lose that coup war with Panama. And
right.
again,
And
that's just too risky.
right. That exactly. I was like, I have Panama. I don't need to do this. And then Graham is a huge jerk, who I do not like at all, and he does this next thing he's going to do.
Okay, are we looking at a brush war of Panama? Are we looking at libs? Libs not even that big a problem. All right, let's see. Let's see what we got.
No, it's much worse than all of those things.
What is worse than those things? Junta? Junta's bad.
I had sort of forgotten about it myself, Justin, and then was quite dismayed. So yeah, so the nuclear subs. I was also thinking about it, and then I also got to get 2 scorings off. The whole turn, I'm trying to bait him into removing the 2 from Cuba.
Yep, because you want to. Yeah, obviously you want to get your
Right.
scoring off without. Cuba's 3 VPs right there. I mean, this is a 5 VP presidentless domination if he removes from Cuba. Otherwise, now it's just 2.
Yep. The other thing is keep in mind he still has CIA.
Yep. Yeah, missile envy. Regardless of what missile envy pulled, it was going to stop him from getting rid of CIA. So that is helpful.
Well, yes, right, yes. You are correct. Yes, so missile envy was very good there.
Oh, D-stall. Ugh, that's an annoying redraw. That's worse than Junta.
Yep. That's about the worst card possible.
Yep. Yeah, that is painful. That's painful. Now, Garden Variety 3 gives him Venezuela and Brazil. Then he'll be able to take Chile and Argentina later. No, salt.
Mm-hmm. I think it's only 3 left.
Boy, salt with CIA in your hand. Salt a non-event, a little bit of a surprise, but salt is also a disaster for him here under CMC, and he controls all 3 of the non-battlegrounds there. So I can see why he wouldn't want to event it.
Yeah. So
was there a thought about Nicaragua here to potentially threaten the realigns?
No, I didn't think about that. That would have probably been a good idea. Colombia made sense to see a presence. I wanted to threaten him and say again. I'm trying. I didn't really care about Nicaragua because I was hoping that Saharan might bait him into the coup.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got 4 hours left. Got to score twice. Yeah. Tim, don't worry. I'm not ignoring Chad. I'm just ignoring you. That's all. JR, yes, Brush War was a good guess. That was my guess initially. And Josiah, glad to see you've joined the chat as well. Okay, getting rid of Southeast Asia for even. That could have been a lot worse.
He also played How I Learned there, which is another CIA dump.
Yeah, that's true. I guess also could have been evented, even to just keep DEFCON 2, get his mill ops under CMC.
Yeah, right now, I am obviously quickly running out of ARs.
Yeah, maybe his hand is just so terrible that he desperately needed those off. But yeah, How I Learned could have been a good event. That's an annoying event.
Mm-hmm. But what it does do is it does give me the opportunity to do this, which I didn't have before.
Yeah. Okay. So you get your mill ops, and you're gonna hope that he coups Saharan, and that you have Africa, and then you can get off a nice 5 EP Central. That is what you're hoping here, I assume.
Yes, that was the hope, and instead he does another very jerk thing. Again, Graham, very bad person.
I don't like when people are mean to you, Ted.
Yeah, Graham, I'm obviously just kidding. It's just a game.
I don't know if Graham is watching tonight, but watching today. Maybe he'll watch this later. Oh my goodness!
He did say, yep. And he gets the one.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's just brutal. That is brutal. So gets UN, gets the second. I hate it when my opponents get the second VP off of a UN that I trigger. Oh, I hate that. Okay, well, CIA survives to the late war, by which time maybe your opponent will not have, maybe Graham will not have headline peak.
Yep. So he has headline peak now, which is great when you draw defectors.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not the 2 purges, and then the CIA debacle, and then he gets both D cards. It's not first 4 turns were not very kind to me.
Yeah.
here. But don't worry, Justin. Uh, the narrative changes here. Obviously without headline peak of headlining defectors, I thought about the Pope. Maybe it should have been the Pope, but I was like, I have to. I'm gonna event IP war anyways.
Yeah.
At some point, because right now I don't even have anywhere I can coup. Uh, might as well do it now. He might, there's an off chance he headlines Asia, and I get the 1 in 6 chance to stop the Dom.
Yeah.
So maybe the Pope was better, but
Or maybe this stops him from headlining Asia, and he can't dump it in the headline, and he don't tries
right,
something
yeah,
else.
right, yeah, 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 right. So
This would have been Pope for me, but you know that about me. Oh,
you
that's
know,
he had a
uh,
better war card than you,
yeah, he does.
and he rolled a higher number than you.
Yep. So that's the end of that on Asia. Fortunately, Southeast Asia got scored last turn.
Oh,
Uh, so yeah, maybe it should have been Pope. I don't know whether he would have reacted and not cooed here. Um, but
so we're taking the
you
coup
know,
in
it's what it
Mexico. All
is.
right, so he missed.
Yeah, and so
Yeah,
I don't really
obviously,
have
yeah,
much. Yeah,
yeah, I
that's
like that.
obviously
Got to be cultural here. Protect South
yeah,
Africa. Yeah, we need to. We really, Ted. I don't know if you know this, but you really need to steal a coup here, and
yeah,
this is not good. We need him to not have any scorings right now.
yep. There's also that, and then I just don't have much in my hand here. I mean, Allende sucks. I got libs and we will bury you both bad. Portuguese, I'm gonna have to give and foo with it. It's another annoying card that he
Yeah,
had.
I guess Portuguese is not that terrible here, but
No,
yeah,
I
libs is
I
you don't
maybe
want libs. I
I
guess you're
maybe should
holding
have
him.
gone with the Pope as the headline thing if I had thought through it more and realized that I was gonna have to coup with Portuguese.
Yeah, and with Warsaw gone, I mean, you could have contested Poland and made him
Yeah,
nervous in Europe.
I could. So that was probably better because I think he would have repaired and then
Yeah,
given me the coup.
yeah, and if he repairs, then you get a nice coup in Africa, and ideally flip that. But the Pope is
Yeah,
still fine anytime. I mean, particularly AR7. Okay, trying to get some VPs on space. All right, we need to space, and we're going to miss as well. We need to do a better job on space rolls. Okay, so Allende's bad. Obviously, we're giving it, but we're hoping he fills up Chile on his own accord first.
uh, yep. And then we get that, so that's fun.
Asia, jeez, that's
Hmm.
rough.
And then I realized the Middle East scoring will end the game, so I have to do this.
Yeah,
With AI War still out there, so that would have just been a fun 6. But maybe that was the wrong play. But I mean, I was just trying to stay in the game at this point.
yeah.
Uh,
Also, Jr. Sorry, Josiah makes a great point. Thailand was a really weird target for brush war there. Italy would have been much better, I would think, isn't it? Even with Asia in
yes, I
hand, he
agree.
had domination. Maybe your IP war scared him into not going Italy.
Maybe.
Um, in which case, it definitely accomplished something because you now at least kept domination in one region.
Yeah. So then he pulls out ABM too and flips Mexico over. I was a little confused by the Mexico because he cooed Mexico to begin this turn and then comes back after with ABM even though it's already scored.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
So we're down 14 VPs. Yeah, I would be kind of ignoring Mexico for the moment. I'd be much more focused on Africa.
yeah. So this point, I was looking at the cards available. He can't space any threes, and so I went with the Pope early because I didn't. What I didn't want to do is I didn't want to play Allende and give him control there because that ends the game if he has the scoring. I assumed he kind of would have done it already, so I
Yeah.
went a little bit early on the Pope, figuring that he had some issues in his hand, and he does indeed. So he has to play this for the
Yeah,
hops
that's problematic
here.
for him.
Yes, it is. No, he's gonna use it to fix Poland, if I recall correctly.
I assume that's the right play, but then you can get a realign in on
And
Nigeria,
yeah,
which I
so
think would be my. Oh, he doesn't. But you don't
you
have the ops to contest Poland right now anyway, so you have to do
right.
this. Roll better. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I get it.
Okay, so now if Africa come, if we got to get Africa and Europe before South America, we can get into the late war. That's annoying. Now we have to fix that.
Yep. So I have to give a band-aid to fix that. And I
Yep.
still have Dom.
Yeah.
Uh,
Still have Dom. All right, and then we need Kennedy here. And some bad scorings. Ideally next turn, but this turn would be fine too. Okay, well, there's Kennedy in Middle East, so that'll help.
yeah.
Um,
So all
yeah,
right, I do have to drop here to go back to work. Um, but this is an exciting turn. I did have fun playing this turn because again, not another hand that's not great.
yep. Okay,
So,
so
but
a
some
lot of
fun
good stuff
decisions.
here, and then but some good stuff to done with Kennedy as well.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thanks, Justin. I'll be watching the rest of this later.
All right. Well, thanks for joining, Ted.
All right. Bye.
All right. Well, thank you, Ted, for joining the broadcast here. We got him for 5 full turns before he had to go do his job, and now we've got 5 turns left where I'll be commenting solo. Here we are. Yeah. So Ted's going one small step, which I think is a fine headline, but I don't. This seems like an Africa headline situation. Decall is not around. ABM and Brush are gone. This would have been a situation where I had a headlined Africa, I think. Um, oh, interesting. He's just going to try and get out of Europe. Okay. That's interesting. All right, well, I guess Africa, we didn't need to go Africa because now we're getting a big coup there in Zaire. Okay, so now we have a potential here to get Africa control. This is a big issue for Graham because he needs to not give up Africa control. Graham also with 15 VPs here, close to a win. Just needs a space race and OPEC or something like that. Okay, event of Brezhnev. Ted trying to get those VPs first. Misses on the roll. This is going to be a 2-card discard from Kennedy, which is annoying. A question is Ted going to try the realigns? I don't know that there's a big hurry on the realigns. Yeah, that's not active. Okay, yeah, Ted gonna take his 6, which I think is wise with the hand he has. So mid-turn Brezhnev from Graham suggests he's got grain sales or voice or something else he's just desperate to space. Okay, 3-op coup with Camp David. I think this has to be Kennedy here on AR5. South America scoring still around, but obviously we can't give Middle East here. That's what 3, 4, 5 VPs. I don't think we can. I don't know if we can give 5. And no, we obviously can't because we held We Will Bury You. We can't hold Kennedy because spaced Suez instead of We Will Bury You. So yes, there's no option. We can't hold Kennedy here. So you have to event him right now. Missile Envy's gone. Ted could have potentially spaced We Will Bury You instead, and then that gives him the choice if he wants to give the 5 VPs of Middle East and hope to snipe South America next turn. But holding We Will Bury You in hand precludes that possibility. He's going to dump that. Oh, and he gets Gunman. That's brutal, but Special Relationship is very nice. That'll be another couple of VPs, and that gets it back into the reshuffle. Voice space, and Graham hits the roll. So that is so Ted did foreshadow that a bit for us. That space was a disaster for him. So okay, it's turn 7, and Yeah, South America is ugly here, and Ted probably going to event our man and hope to snipe it. I mean, there's no probably to it. He's definitely going to do that. That is the obvious play here. Hunt for South America scoring. Otherwise, you're going to get dinged up for 8 VPs, maybe 10, and lose the game right here on turn 7. Yeah, JR saying that's a good idea. Pull Kennedy out of the removed pile, just kind of sneak it back into the deck. Accidentally. Oops, sorry, I accidentally reshuffled this in. Okay, puppets. What's puppets going to do? Saudi makes sense. You could go Nicaragua, Haiti here. Afghanistan, also a good target, but with Asia the way it looks, I think, at this point, even flipping Pakistan is not going to do us a ton. Before that brush war, it wasn't. Oh, I don't know why. You know what? Speaking of which, I apologize, folks. I said something stupid earlier. I wonder if somebody called me out on the chat. I mentioned Italy being a brush war target, but NATO is in effect. So okay, so somebody mentioned Italy being a brush war target, and that person was wrong, and I was also wrong because NATO is in effect. So that is obviously why Italy was not the target. Moving along, Ted plays our man. He does get South America scoring, so a big break for him. And now Graham just spaced Voice of America on turn 6. Oh, and Ted gets CIA redraw turn 7. That is brutal. So I believe, could be wrong, I believe that Graham is stuck with grain sales here. So that's interesting. So obviously you want to headline anything other than Bear Trap. Junta makes sense here, I think. Even with South America gone, Junta's still a very good headline. Yep, Che, what's Che going to do? Che's going to go Haiti and probably Colombia, maybe Saharan. Oh, just goes with the 2 African countries. A little surprised there, and not that we didn't see Haiti, but all right. No, I think I like. Well, it wouldn't have mattered. I think I like Brazil better, just to potentially threaten those real lines on Venezuela. But that was fine. We missed on the roll, so just an easy repair here for Graham. So pretty much a garbage hand here for Ted. He's got gunman obviously, which he held over. He has got Sadat. He's got a known gunman. Okay, I don't understand this. Okay, so he realigns Nigeria instead of he could have just flipped it with the 4 ops. Instead, he's going to try realigns here and then going to try another roll on Zaire. Yeah, misses there. Okay. Yeah, I don't understand that. That lets Ted take Venezuela. I think just using that 4-op to flip over Nigeria and then go 1 Venezuela would have been the right play. Also, I don't believe Ted has had the China card this entire game. I think Graham has had it the whole time. So with DEFCON, certainly a consideration for both players here. DEFCON certainly a consideration for both players. I would expect, I think I want to say Graham's holding Usuri, but I'm not sure. Okay, going to take Nigeria. I don't. Yeah, JR seems to think. I don't know. I don't know if he has Africa, because if he does, he could have scored it for no dom there, and Ted's got an opportunity to realign. Okay. Wants that extra VP from Nigeria. Because what I'd be worried about if I were Graham is a flip of Angola with realigns, and now all of this. Okay, so you're right. He did have Africa, but I would have been worried about a flip of Angola with realigns flips Dom right back to Ted. Now, okay, here's a terrible hand. Unfortunately for Ted, though, nuclear subs there, it can be used to get him out of grain. So we might see Might see an AR-6 nuke subs, and very lucky for Graham to get Africa before we're going to see a bunch of coups on, a bunch of coups in the in Africa. So yeah, Space of Usuri, and that's going to give Graham discard. Okay, so now don't even need to do that. Yeah, don't even need to worry about triggering nuke subs and grain because you can get rid of it. Europe scoring, Ted will take his VPs. That gets him out of war games range, but now there's no chance that Ted can do try a Europe scoring situation in final, or excuse me, until final rather. He's going to have to survive all the way to final if he is able to get Europe scoring, Europe control. Yep. Yeah, JR, you were right. The Tuche in Africa really suggested he had Africa, but I would have dumped it as soon as there was no more domination, rather than risking, potentially getting realigned out of Angola. The one VP wouldn't be that particularly worth it to me, but he got out of it. It was just fine. Ted gonna jack DEFCON all the way up to 5. I assume because he wants to get rid of lone gunmen before the late war. That's the only reason to do this. Yeah, with Graham having discard here, Graham's going to be able to get out of grain sales, nuke subs or no. So just getting rid of gunmen before the late war does make sense. And then Ted going to hope. So South America, Ted behind in battlegrounds, not dominated, but behind in battlegrounds. Central America is behind in battlegrounds. Middle East, he's behind in battlegrounds, but he can even that up with Saudi Arabia. Obviously ahead in Europe. Okay, here comes OAS. Ted not in a good position to take advantage of this. So yeah, okay. Just going to put the 2 in Mexico. Okay, one-op coup in Haiti. Protect Cuba makes sense. Okay, yeah, you definitely want to get rid of gunmen here. So we have grain sales and nuclear subs in Graham's hand. Ted, in theory, could wait to give gunmen until AR7, but I think you just give it right now. Unless, of course, you want to use independent Reds to take back Mexico. And then just give it on AR7. Mexico's an important country, so being able to flip it over is nice. Yeah, this isn't bad either. I like this. Then you can give gunman AR7. Now, of course, the downside is Graham knows that all you have is a 1-op play, but he's also only got a 2-op play. And I think your 1-op, I don't know. It depends on whether Ted thinks that this it's unwinnable on the board here. He's pretty close to Dom in Central America. He's got Europe Dom, Africa very flippable at the moment to get himself Dom there. But yeah, he needs, Middle East and Asia are ugly right now. Middle East easy to fix as well. So okay, here we are, AR7. Yep, Ted's just going to take back Venezuela and allow Graham the last play. And we're going to go into turn 8 with DEFCON at 5. So I said the Middle East is ugly. Only 2 ops fixes up the Middle East, and then obviously Ted needs to flip a battleground in South America. But Asia really at this point his only bad region, but it's really bad. That's -8, and obviously it's unscored. So okay, here we go. And grain about to be discarded. Ted, I'm sure, not happy to see that. And DEFCON up at 5, and oh boy, here's Chernobyl. So DEFCON being at 5 makes Chernobyl not as great. So you could headline it here and go for the Europe push. Ted could count up his ops. Problem is, if you don't, you could not headline it because you're afraid of the DEFCON 5 and realign situations because you can't jam Poland here at DEFCON 5. Obviously, the problem is if Aldrich comes and snipes Chernobyl, that is a disaster. Yeah, salt negotiations is interesting. What are we salting for here? Usuri? Grain? I noticed Ted did not look at the discard before he decided to play salt. Iran-Contra, so these realigns here. Okay, gonna go with Usuri. Just take a 3-op. So Iran-Contra, what's Iran-Contra gonna do? Could potentially try and set up realigns on Venezuela. DEFCON is at 5, so anything in theory could be realigned. Okay, a coup with We Will Bury You. That's a swing and a miss. I assume Ted will just repair that. Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. Okay, so I think my plan here would be to hold Chernobyl until next turn and see if I can make some noise with it then. Question is, you really don't want to give... Oh, wow, Glasnost too. Okay, well, we know Graham doesn't have war games because he certainly would have invented one or both of those if he did. So Ted probably not having to worry about that. I wonder if this is a situation where you think about eventing duck and cover here. Because you even a 6 here doesn't get you Brazil. You could go Nigeria, but it's scored. Libya makes sense. You need a 4, and he gets the roll. Okay. Okay. So that's a good roll for Ted. He's able to now even up the Middle East, maybe even take domination if he can get into take Saudi. Duck and cover event could have been interesting there, but Ted does need mill ops anyway. There's one small step. I'm sure Ted would have liked to see that. And oh yes, okay, so we have some realigns there. Yeah, Ted needs to deal with that. Not sure I wouldn't have taken Saudi Arabia there first, given that Graham has access to it and he doesn't have access to Libya. Okay. Wow, and Zaire holds strong here. Usuri event taking China. Ted finally gets his first taste of the China card all game. We'll see what Ted is thinking about here. Comic-Con is painful to give. You do not want to give it, but if you space it, that really is a big heads up for Graham about what your plans are. So I think Iranian hot crisis makes more sense to space. Yeah, I think putting this into Saudi is fine. So slowly but surely, this board's starting to turn a little bit. Ted needs Asia scoring simply not to come up. He just needs it to not happen. Yep, China card tastes like cardboard. I could not agree more. Okay, so Middle East not looking bad. Ted needs to flip over Nigeria. Needs to also get past this turn without getting Zaire flipped on him with realigns. Okay, there goes AWACS. Oh boy. And Graham now gets the 4 VP space roll. And Ted going to space Comic-Con. So he does space Comic-Con, holds on to Iranian hostage crisis. Okay, special. Gives Ted a couple of VPs here. I wonder if the spacing of Comic-Con is going to lead Graham to put ops into the Eastern European battlegrounds here. Nope, he ignores it. Okay. And now Ted. No, I don't. Break of. I would just put two into Poland here. I would just put these into Poland and say, you know what, I'm going for Europe next turn. That's what's going to happen. That would be my play if we're going to use the hostage crisis. I might have also held the hostage crisis, in case terrorism gets thrown on me next turn. But Chernobyl, I like going all out for Europe control here, and I would have put both those into Poland. Okay. This hand not very good, but Ted does get Reformer. Ted did say at the top of the, he did say yesterday, let me know what you think of turn 9 and turn 10. So we're all going to let him know together what we think of those turns. So yes, I think if it were me, I would have just put those two Iranian ops into Poland and fully telegraphed the Europe control play, and then hope to get a lot of ops with Chernobyl next turn. Ted thinking about brush here. So Ted is very clearly thinking that he's still got a chance to win this one honestly on the board. If he can flip over Brazil, and he also needs to flip a battleground in Africa, or rather he doesn't. He just needs to not get Zaire flipped on him. Then he has a chance here to, rolls just enough in Brazil. So yeah, Ted here now has a chance to win this one in final scoring now that he hit that brush war. He needs Asia not to come up, but this board really doesn't look bad for him at all. And now we'll also see if Graham is someone who has Middle East scoring in hand, is going to want to dump it immediately for even, and which would give Ted a coup, which would be huge. Yeah, let's see what he's going to do. Nope, just going to take a big coup in Libya. No, going to go Mexico and miss. Oh, that is a huge, huge one. All right, so Ted ideally here would want a 3-op. Ideally, he'd want a 4-op. Obviously, I think ideally you always want a 4-op. You want to go Mexico, Libya, Egypt, and Lebanon. Retake Middle East, retake Mexico as well. Only 4-op he's got is China card, and I don't know if he's going to use it here. Ted thinking very carefully. Okay, so he's going to go Chernobyl. Yeah, he's going to use his only playable 3 to retake Middle East Dom. Okay, so he's given up his chance on Europe, and he's going to try and win this one honestly straight up, which I don't think is a bad play here. I was a huge miss on the coup. I would also like to see Ted get another one into Zaire yesterday, but he's got CRGs for that, which can also make problems in Nigeria. For Graham. Yeah, Ted needs to not get Zaire flipped on him. Okay, and there's Central getting off for even. All right, I think CRGs is my play right now. I'm fine with Zimbabwe here too. Although maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not fine with Zimbabwe because then that could get cooed, and you could be looking at +2 realigns. I don't know that Burma gets you much. Even if you flip India with IP war, Burma just doesn't get you much. Laos also doesn't get you much. I think we're just, yeah, okay. All right. That's fine. I might have just taken African non-battlegrounds there. Okay, so we're limited on ops the rest of the turn. Ted is going to have to space the Reformer. He's got to obviously score South America, so that's 2 of his 5 remaining ARs. Decall is unacceptable here, so you're going to have to hold that, and then you get a 1-op play, and then a 1-op and 2 2-op plays. Pakistan getting overprotected there. I lost a game recently because I failed to overprotect Pakistan in the late war. In that situation, Ted had no access, and also Puppets is gone, and so is Usuri, so there was no hope of him getting access. But Graham with 5 in North Korea, so he's got that double overprotected. He's got South Korea overprotected as well, as knowing Ted loves to jam things with the China card. Okay, that is annoying, but I think you just repair that. Yep, that's right. Let's see if Graham has a 3 to flip over Botswana, because losing Botswana is an issue here. So Central and South America are even. Africa is basically even. Okay, realign here. And yeah, that's not particularly effective because Ted's gonna be able to just get right back in. That was also an even realign. I think could have found better use for those 3 ops. I would have used them to take Botswana there. I think that would have been fine. Okay, and it goes for South Africa at even. Iran Contra is not in play anymore. Ted once again really low on ops. And I don't know that an even realign was the right play. Because even if you succeed, which Graham, to be fair, did, Ted able to just go right back in with 2 ops of his own. So Europe is 5 for Ted here. Middle East is right now 3, would become 4 if Ted takes Libya. So that's 9 for Ted. Asia right now, though, is 8 for Graham. Which so obviously that is, so the board right now is basically even. Ted slightly ahead. Africa's +1. Africa's +1. Europe's +5. Middle East, call it +4. So that's 10 for Ted. 8 for Graham. Ted has the China card. So +3. Graham up 2. So right now, if the final scoring were to happen right now, Ted would win this one just barely by about a point. Ted got to go to space. He hits the roll, not particularly consequential, but a VP is a VP. And then Ted with 1 op left, and I expect we'll just see him take Libya with this one. Okay, and there's War Games. So Ted does not have to worry about that. Man, everything in Asia is double overprotected except other than India. So Graham really is not going to mess around in Asia. Okay, so here's the key, and here's probably your ball game is Middle East or Asia. Will Middle East come out? Will Asia come out? Will both come out? Will neither come out? If Ted can dodge Asia here, he is in great shape to win this one. And instead, Asia comes, and this is problematic for him. So Alliance is going to be 4, which is nice. Terrorism is nice to have. Cal to lower DEFCON. I'm not sure what. So I'm not sure what DEFCON cards are left. We saw Grain. Sorry, we've seen Grain. I believe we've seen Duck. We've seen Teardown. Now here's Cal. So I don't think he's got any chance of a DEFCON win, but this will obviously stop a coup in Africa, which is critically important. Iran-Iraq War, pretty weak headline. But 50-50 shot of a couple of VPs. Misses on the roll. He does get 2 Milops, so arms race a possibility here. So Ted has some VPs here in his hand, but not much in the way of ops. Terrorism's a good event. Alliance is a good event. Kitchen's a good event. Nixon's a good event. You're going to UND call for 2 ops. Oh boy, this looks like it's going to be a close one. Okay, that has to be repaired immediately. Yeah, you're going to overprotect it? And if not, what are you going to do with that op? Are you going to go Botswana? I would maybe consider Botswana with a 3rd op. Yeah, this is fine. I would be worried a little bit about Aldrich. But I think if Graham had Aldrich, he would have played at AR1. or headlined it rather than Iran-Iraq War. So I think we're probably safe from Aldrich. Yeah, I really would like to see Ted get Botswana here. Oh, ABM is a disaster. A Zaire coup here. Yeah. Oh, and he misses on the roll. Okay, I think this has to be a China card flip. Nope, going to use the 3. Just going to use the 3. Boy, I wondered if that should have been a China card play. But I think Ted wants to save the China card for his last action round. I okay, yeah, okay, and there's that. Yeah, this has to be China. No. Okay, goes terrorism. I don't understand why we didn't see China right there to flip over Zaire. I guess Nigeria can also be flipped. I don't understand. Okay. Why 3 in Indonesia? Okay. I'm very confused why Ted did not use the China card there um, in Africa. That was a critical 1 that Graham rolled. Ted hoping to see Middle East scoring, but he's not going to see it. Okay, Reagan bombs breaking Mexico. Kitchen no longer active. Ted gonna overprotect Mexico. I would have used China there to take Mexico back and maybe flip Nigeria potentially. Yeah, okay. Ted has to score Asia here. What is that? I don't understand that. Okay. All right, Ted down 3, and the board has Ted up in Europe, so 5 there, 4 in the Middle East. The early war regions are +1 for Ted. The others are even, and yeah, Africa. He's dominated in Africa, so I think Ted's going to fall just short here. So, question obviously becomes: does Graham have VOA, and he has to give it? Does Graham have a problematic card here that he has to give away? Shuttle is not that. I don't understand why. Okay, so yeah, you're down 6 countries to 3, so you can make it 5-5 with flip of Nigeria and 1 Botswana, but that's not enough, and you're behind in Milops as well. Yep, that's not good enough. Do you have access to Chile? I don't think you have access to Chile. Poke Nigeria, poke Cuba. That's interesting. Poke Nigeria to stop Africa Dom, and Cuba's 2. That's 6. This is only 5. I think Nigeria Cuba is better. Yeah, Nigeria Cuba is the play here, but it's not going to be enough. I think this is right. It's just not enough. Ted doing the math here. Yeah, Ted's got to go. Yeah, if you can knock one out, yeah, this is. And I don't think he can get enough VPs on real lines. Asia's 8. Europe, Middle East, so yeah, +1 there, -4. Board is -3 for Ted right now. So -6 total, -8 for Millops, and then -7 because of China. But if he gives China, it's -9. So if Ted plays a China card, he's going to find 9 VPs, and I think he can only find 6. Yep, you can only find 6, so he knows a lot. Oh, he gets one out of Chile. Okay. No, dude, you're not going to get 4 out of there. I think you want to go Zaire. Okay, now you take a shot at Nigeria. You take a shot at Nigeria here. Oh my goodness, gets a 5-2, one short. Wow, and Ted loses there by 5 VPs. If he flips over Nigeria, that would have been 5 and made the game even. He had to roll a 6-1, but almost got there. Just not quite enough. So good game. Thank you, Ted, for sharing. Um, this was a fun one to watch. Sorry that you came up just short. Real Lines almost had it for you at the end. So thank you everybody for watching. Appreciate you tuning in. Kind of last minute here on a Thursday afternoon. Not Twilight Struggle. Next Twilight Struggle for me is going to be Monday evening. We'll play against DC against Team California. We lost the first game of that series, so game 2 will be Monday evening as we try to square the series and send it to a winner take all game 3 rather. Thank you everybody for watching. So long for just a while.